So I want to stop thinking that artists have to be always broke or always struggling and suffering for their art, because I think we live in a time where that mindset needs to shift, because there are plenty of sustainable careers. Ready to go learn how to live healthier, wealthier and wiser as an artist in showbiz? Hey, I'm Lara Bianca Pilcher. I'm crazy about helping artists to live out their creative dreams and nurture themselves at the foundation of their creative career. I'm an artist and actor and showbiz educator with over 20 years in the arts and entertainment industry in London, Australia and now Atlanta, USA. I'm here to show you how to navigate this topsy-turvy world called showbiz, uncover the secrets of success, unlocking the powerful artist you are. I've done a lot. Performed, worked in TV, film, radio, stage, produced, directed, choreographed, acting, singing, voice work, musical theatre, dance company, toured, moved, casting, auditioned, self-taped, teaching, press, critics, branding, marketing, side hustles, and all the hoo-ha, while maintaining a happy marriage with 2 gorgeous kids. And there will only be real talk here, friends. Think of this podcast as a masterclass in helping you build your creative career, while also learning how to holistically navigate the artist's life. This is the Healthy, Wealthy, Wise Artist Podcast. Side hustle tips for performing artists. There's a few in here that you've probably never heard of, and some that you have heard of. But no matter how successful a performer is, or whether they've booked work non-stop for years, there usually comes a time when they need another stream of income to support them. Why not have a few streams of income, which is something a lot of us don't think about, and we create a career that we can thrive in and enjoy long term? So here's my side hustle tips for performing artists. And I don't like the word side hustles, I'm going to just be straight up with that. I like to think big picture and call supporting ourselves a parallel career, because after a long time doing this, I realized that side hustles are not really what's going on. Is that we need a parallel career. I'm not talking about a fallback. I'm talking about a career that chugs along, providing income alongside complementing our work as freelance artists and performers. The word parallel career is something that I created and I stand by, because I really think that's more what we really need. And I encourage all performers, as they train in their technique and work in the industry, to not think of a side hustle or a survival job, but a parallel career that moves alongside their freelance performing work. And this parallel career is something they are good at, and even better, enjoy, or at least can tolerate and not hate. And you know what I mean by that. So I ask the question, are you a prepared performer? The problems for so many performers and artists is that they don't get prepared ahead of time to think through what a long-term performing career is and what working freelance means. For example, how often do young dancers hear about the retirement age of most professional dancers and get inspired to plan for that? And there is, of course, injury and how that can affect any performer in any field, and also preventing you from working for a season of time or longer. And it's not a fun topic, but we can thrive and live far happier when we do have a plan. And I've heard an acting agent instruct a room full of first-degree performers in acting to apply for representation while in their first year and begin to try to work. And afterwards I spoke to the same group and said, it's okay, that's not terrible advice. I do know performers that have, booked while they're still incredible roles and have worked non-stop since. That's rare, but it happens. But I just encourage the performers to think long term, because, you might book a show right now and that's great. But if you're in a degree, the longer term effect is that degree can open doors for you for other opportunities in the long run. And I know this firsthand because I've seen it. I watch performers in London work many side jobs for really low pay, and I had a performance degree and was able to study at university for just 1 extra year, and I studied dance and drama teaching. And this opened my work as a supply relief substitute teacher in schools all over London in the arts, and I got to direct musicals and teach what I love and get paid a much higher rate. So always think big picture and long term, because we are looking at sustaining a long career. And I want to share with you the real life side hustle tips for performing artists. And I've seen my performing friends worldwide work other jobs when they're not booked in performing roles. And in London, the USA and Australia, all markets I've lived and worked in, performers have the same need. However, some jobs are not as readily available in different countries. But these are the main jobs my friends have been working. I'm going to give you a list. And not just my friends, but these friends are working performers on the break between contracts, and successful performers at that. So here's my beloved long real-life list. I have seen massage therapists, Pilates instructors, performance technique instructors, think dance, acting, singing, whatever your technique that you can teach is. Voiceover work, I've got one friend who does a regular job for a regular company. Role play, something you might not know what that is, but it's basically going in to act for students that are training in medicine or other fields. Psychology, can be any number of things, and actually interacting so they get real life experience. Incredible job and great for improvisation training. A chaperone, you might not know what that is, but think of these long contracts maybe in London that are 1 year, and young children like the cast of Matilda or Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, they need someone to look after the kids. So that's a chaperone. Photography, of course, if you're talented at that. All kinds of actors I know also do photography, and all kinds of artists. It's a great skill. I want this skill, actually. It's something I'd love to study. An Etsy store for selling resources and artwork. I've got a friend who does that. Retail, a friend who's currently in the cast of Moulin Rouge, who spent a year doing shoe retail before that. So incredible. Tutoring, I actually did tutoring in London. It's just after hours, and I had a really famous novelist, and I tutored her daughter. So it was good pay. YouTubers and the money that's involved in that area. Temp work, which is office work, and the agencies find the work for you and you show up. There's promo work, which is handing out flyers. Often these sorts of jobs are listed on Craigslist. There's the entrepreneurial life of your own business. And for me, it's been substitute relief supply teaching. That's what I've done as a parallel career. Sometimes I've actually worked part-time for a job that has that flexibility, and very rarely did I have too many clashes, but sometimes obviously I needed to, that can be complicated and another conversation. But an agency called me up in the morning. I had, a regular agency, and they would say, "Are you available today?" or "Are you available tomorrow?" And I'm like, "Yes, I haven't booked something this week. I don't have too many self-tapes. Yes, I need the money." I went. I've done remote work for arts and teaching companies, including social media, writing show reviews and articles. And I've had a short stint, as I said, tutoring a celebrity client student. And on this note, I think what's important is when you're thinking long term is that when I was teaching and was able to actually work on staff for a school, it was that time in my life that my husband and I applied for a loan to get a house. And literally I took that job going, okay, it might only be 6 months, but I took that job in order to be able to qualify for the mortgage. So it's thinking about these things. Do I have the skills to be able to do that for a season in order to get the bigger picture? It's only 6 months of my life. I can still perform and get the mortgage. And I've had to do that a couple of times when we've pivoted and moved countries and needed to buy property. And banks don't love contract workers, freelance performers. They don't love it. We love you, of course. But banks don't love it as much as someone who's salaried on staff. So just think about those little short stints that might be the windows of time that you jump on the things that you want to go in your life, having a home and a family and the other things other than just performing. An area that is really thriving and really, really suits performers is remote work. We're so lucky to be in a booming time in history because creatives can really thrive in these roles due to their flexibility. You may need a little training or time learning new skills, but it's worth it in the long run. And here's what you can do. Here's a list of things that's in hot demand right now. Some you might know about, but I bet you there's a couple that you are not aware of yet, unless you really have your finger on the pulse of trends that are coming up, which you may have. Well, this one goes without say, and that's social media. But what you might not realise is that many, many companies need their social media done remotely, And if you know this field, the trends that are going on, many businesses need someone who is skilled at this. And I know this because I've worked for 2 companies over the last year, both that this was a real area of struggle. And that sometimes they've taken, actually that's the 3 companies that I can think of right now, that their social media is not where they want it to be. And the person that was in that position is not giving the service or the kind of work in this area that the company wants. So even if they say, we've got someone, provide them, show them your social media if you've already got great channels and some samples of your work, because you just never know. You might be able to do this from home, but you can also search for places, Backstage and LinkedIn have these kind of jobs listed as well. Some people know what this is, but it's so new that a lot of people don't. But a UGC, aka user-generated content. This is now becoming incredibly popular with brands who are paying for more authentic-looking user content. In fact, a recent study revealed that 80% of buyers say UGC highly influences their purchasing decisions. This is where UGC creators come in and performers are perfect. You guys, you have no idea how perfect you are for this, and it pays well. I know one person who's getting $1,000 a week because she's working for brands with flowers. And it's all about authentic looking storytelling, filming with your iPhone or camera at home, understanding lighting, which a lot of performers do, especially if you're an actor and you're self-taping, and what performs well on social media. And UGC creators get paid to create the inspired content for brands, and it's a look like it's freelance content creation from home. You essentially create authentic, still or moving scenes, and I just can't tell you enough how much artists would love this. It's predicted that UGC creators will fill the gap in the market, and creators will be monetizing on social media without the need to post on their own channels, which is what this used to be and where it actually originated from, because it's actually posted to the brand's channel. So to find this kind of work, start by deciding on brands that you would like to work for, study their style, create some content like a portfolio, and pitch your work to them. You can send a direct message on social media and then continue the conversation by email. And you can also search for brands looking by using hashtags on social media. So look for UGC hashtags and brands that are looking for creators to do this. It is becoming the thing to do. Of course, I know performers who do this, but video creation, many companies want someone who knows how to tell a video story and create for their online channels. Not just socials, but websites and things like that. This is a great area if you're looking at editing short form content, and this expands into editing audio for podcasts as well. One idea is to list yourself on Fiverr. These are great for anybody that works in these kind of fields, and just put yourself out there and find the work that way. Coaching is another whole area. A lot of people are coaching, whether it's actually skill coaching like technique, acting, singing, dancing, music. Vocal coaching is booming online, and most other things, but not to mention life coaching also. If you love helping people, there are many courses to train you further in the life coaching field, and an online life is perfect for performers. You can even go on tour with an online life, and this is something that fits that well. Another one is graphic design. This is great remote work, and Canva has made this easier for everyone. So if you have flair, interior design style, most dancers are amazing at this because you understand visual spaces. But this is a great area to list yourself on online platforms. Again, I mentioned Fiverr, but there's others. There's a lot of work for busy companies in constant need of weekly artwork, flyers, images, and so much more. So let's think long term, not just having a miserable side hustle, but moving from side hustle to happy side hustle and parallel career. It's a great time for performers due to the online work boom, and remote work careers are so great. You can even do them on tour and after hours, after rehearsal, all of those kind of things. The long-term key is don't just do the miserable side hustle, plan and work towards the skills needed because you're thinking long term. So you're not just thinking, I'm going to take this gig right now, but you're training yourself in another skill that goes alongside as a sustainable parallel career. And that's the shift in mindset that this episode's really about. Are you thinking of a sustainable parallel career? I understand many of us don't want to. because we think, no, I'm going to be that artist. That's the exception to the rule, and I'm going to work nonstop. And some people do. Percentage-wise, it's not a high percentage chance that will happen, but it does happen. And this is in no way to quench that dream, but this is what I've seen even for performers with their picture on the billboards. I remember in London, stars of shows would have 3 to 4 month gaps between that they still needed to support a family. So they did need to go and do something for those 3 or 4 months, which isn't very long, unless they had enough in savings. So just thinking about all of the different angles that this can come from, 3 or 4 months is a very short time actually, but still they needed and did go and do something else, and that was massage therapy for these people. They were training. They were trying to work on this career and actually work out, how do I do this second thing? So plan and work towards the skills needed to do something that really suits your areas of expertise and is already flexible in its design. It'll save you a lot of stress when those last-minute auditions, gigs, self-tapes and performances come round. And I ask you, what could be your parallel career if you haven't already found it? So I want to stop thinking that artists have to be always broke or always struggling and suffering for their art, because I think we live in a time where that mindset needs to shift, because there are plenty of sustainable careers. It used to be just barista work and working in coffee shops, and many still do, and that is a great option. But if you need extra help in this area in order to set yourself up thriving, not just surviving, you can check out my coaching area at laurabiancapilcher.com. And there's a courses area, and jump on my social media, send me a message, tell me what you thought about this episode, what your side hustle is. If I haven't thought of one, I would love to know. Anyway, friends, with you on the journey. Until next time. Hey, on my Facebook, there is a Healthy, Wealthy, Wise Artists group made up of a tribe of artists seeking to live the healthy, wealthy, wise artist life. They ask each other questions and throw around ideas. You can join the Healthy, Wealthy, Wise Artist Community private Facebook group at Laura Bianca Pilcher on Facebook under groups. Phew, today's masterclass is done. I love reaching back and saying, I've done this, and helping you learn the easy way. If you want more, head to laurabiancapilcher.com for show notes, links, freebies, my blog, coaching and courses, and you can also head to my socials, Laura Bianca Pilcher on Instagram and Facebook. I'm also on Twitter and Pinterest. Thanks again for listening. Please leave a review on Apple Podcasts. That would mean the world to me, and I'll give you a shout out. And of course, keep on living the healthy, wealthy, wise artist living towards your dream life. Bye, friends. P.S. Shout out to my hottie hubby, Andrew Pilcher, who does all the editing on this podcast.